This is the ultimate question. What phone should I buy today? Not everyone has $1,000 to spend on a phone, but at $700 or so, this is a really good phone. This isn't the best iPhone you can buy, but it isn't the worst. But let's talk about it first. Should you buy the iPhone 11 in 2020? Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review. Check out the social media listed above in the description for some extras. Alright, let's review this expensive budget iPhone. This is one of the worst things about the phone. To me. It isn't the worst, being a flat 6.1-inch IPS LCD with a screen resolution of 1792 by 828. Yep, the pixel density is 326 pixels per inch, just like the iPhone 4 and iPhone XR. Honestly, it isn't the worst that Apple could do, but every year it gets more and more disappointing. Sure, this is a cheaper model, but think, the iPhone 6 Plus has a higher screen resolution than the iPhone 11. I mean, look at the iPhone 7 Plus. The screen is just sharper. Smaller, but sharper. Now that we are past that, I don't actually hate the screen. I don't like that it's an LCD because I'm sure a sub 1080p OLED panel would be a lot nicer in this phone and probably not cost too much. But I don't hate the fact that Apple chose an LCD. Lack of 3D touch would be something to care about, but 2018 was the last time that Apple released a 3D touch phone. Actually, Apple doesn't even sell 3D touch models anymore. The screen is notched, something that shouldn't be a surprise by now. The screen has tap to wake, which Apple seems to always be the best one to implement this in their phone. These screens are fairly durable, but this was all that it took to leave a permanent scratch on the screen. I'm pretty sure there was maybe a piece of glass on there, but still, that's not cool. I'm definitely going to leave the screen protector on even when I'm filming the reviews. The screen doesn't leak much on the edge of the screen, which is interesting, but it's also not too surprising because the panel is made by LG. With that said, it is frustrating that the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11 are literally the same screen, but they have different screen connectors. Apple finally caught on. Well, again. Now, Apple isn't going to be too stoked about this part, but the battery is, well, not that good. It isn't terrible, but it isn't best in class. The iPhone 11 Pro Max still gets that title in the Apple world. The battery will get you through the day with medium usage, but that's about it. Even the Geekbench score was alright, lasting about 7.5 hours of screen on time. You should be able to get 5 hours of screen on time out of this, but that seems to be the max. This is a decently sized 3110 mAh cell, bigger than the 2942 mAh cell found in the iPhone XR, but the performance for me is actually worse than what I was getting on the XR. Strange to see when the iPhone 8 and the iPhone SE have the same exact battery, but the SE gives you more battery life. Regardless, the battery isn't the worst, but I would assume that it would be better than the iPhone XR. But that's not true in my test. So the cameras are awesome and easy to review. Remember the iPhone 11 Pro Max? The setup is literally the same, minus the telephoto sensor. That means that this year you can actually take portrait shots of your dog. But in case you didn't know, the rear sensor on the top is a 12 megapixel wide-angle sensor with night mode and optical image stabilization. I say this because the other sensors on this phone don't have those options. Anyways, this is a pretty normal camera and images look amazing during the day, and amazing at night, as expected by a flagship level Apple device. Like I said, you can do portrait mode on more than just people on the back camera, which is pretty cool. Not the best edge detection, but it's still pretty awesome and pretty much the same as what you'll get on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, just in a cheaper body. Then you get a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor, which I found gimmicky, but it's not the worst sensor. I did notice that it did not like low light. At all. Regardless, both cameras can film 4K 60 frames per second, and the main camera has outstanding stabilization. Like I said, these cameras are the same as the iPhone 11 Pro, just lacking the telephoto sensor. The front camera assembly is a 12 megapixel 3D setup, so portrait shots look amazing. Honestly, the edge detection on these sensors seems better than the rear sensors for some reason. You get slow feed too, but it's definitely a gimmick, because the slow motion on the back cameras is pretty awesome. Just like the iPhone 11 Pro, you get 4K 60 frames per second on the front camera on the iPhone 11, and it looks pretty good. Not too bad. Doesn't focus, but not too bad. Overall, these sensors will not disappoint. I just wish that Apple would make focusable front cameras. I don't know why they haven't done this yet. Why should you buy this phone, and why does it exist? Well, it is a good entry point for someone getting into the Apple world, but the iPhone SE exists. Still, I feel like this is a proper, well-rounded entry point. A $600 to $650 price tag would be perfect, seeing that it does have an LCD display, barely passes 3000 milliamps in the battery area, and has an aluminum frame. However, there is a lot that is awesome about this phone. You have access to the Apple ecosystem, which is whatever, but you also get the top-of-the-line A13 processor, IP68 water resistance, wireless charging, 4GB of RAM, 64 to 256GB of storage, a nice size, and a cool-looking camera bump, multi-leveled at that. It kind of looks like that Pikachu meme, just with a beauty mark. You get Face ID, which really isn't the best for our situation right now, but it's more convenient than Touch ID, at least in my eyes. You also get dual speakers, which sound really good and have spatial audio. I don't notice the spatial audio, but they do sound really good. You get Wi-Fi 6 and the U1 ultra wideband chip for spatial awareness. This phone has haptic touch, which always sounds dumb to me. All you're doing is just long pressing and the phone's vibrating. Pretty much every phone does that, except for the vibrating motor is definitely a lot better than most phones. You get dual SIM support, albeit one physical and one eSIM. And you also get some NFC capabilities. You get 18-watt fast charging, but you don't get USB-C on the phone, just Lightning. You get everything you would want at a reasonable price, except for the screen. That definitely needs to be better. So should you buy this phone in 2020? At a reasonable price, I would say yes. I know I probably had some negative views on this phone, but it makes sense given the price of the phones that I normally test and the price of this one. The phone is perfect for someone who just wants a reasonably sized phone but also doesn't want the most expensive one out there. At $700 new, it actually makes a really good 4K camera, whether you need it on the front or the back. Sure, it lacks the headset jack, but the speakers sound really good, or make you want to buy some AirPods, even though there are better headphones out there, which I'll link in the description below. Perfect for the iPhone and reasonably priced, just like the iPhone 11. This phone is not for me, but it's probably an awesome choice for a lot of people. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Thanks for watching my review of the Apple iPhone 11, the kinda cheap iPhone. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section or message me on Twitter. I get bored over there. Also, check out the other social media listed above, subscribe and hit that bell button if you like the channel and want to see more videos. Thanks for watching.